Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with the Dong Report, where I am here to give you my favorite MLB home run picks of the day. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to have 8 players on Dong Watch for you guys to lock in. I'm going to have one 7-leg round robin, and then I'm going to have a straight play as well. I actually have 2 straight plays. One of them is in the round robin as well. So it's going to be a 7-leg round robin and 2 straight bets, 8 total guys on Dong Watch for you today. Unfortunately, yesterday was one of the worst days that we'll have on the Dong Report. It was absolutely brutal. Now, Wednesday was incredible. The second best night we've had the entire season, up almost 11 units on Wednesday. Yesterday, did not get a single Dong to match. Down 2.3 units yesterday as we just couldn't get anything. Now, it was a down day across the MLB with home runs, right? Like, the entire league was down with home runs. We got close on a couple guys. We had Jackson Merrill hit one to the warning track. That wasn't a home run. If he had come through, we would have been green for the day, but he didn't. Just a brutal day overall. Now, a cold stretch is making its way across the country, so it kind of makes sense that home runs are down. That's still the case today, but with more games to choose from, some juicy matchups to target, very confident we're going to have a better day today. On the entire season, we are up about 25 units, a little bit less than 25 units on the Dong Report, which is pretty good when you consider where we started. We were down like almost 20 units in the month of April. Quietly worked our way back, and then 2 blow-up days in the past couple weeks, giving us profits on the year. That's kind of what it's like betting on home runs. So anyways, as for today, again, 8 guys for you to lock in, 1 round robin, 2 straight bets. Before we get into that, I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not already. If you could like and comment on this specific video, I would love that. Comment, let me know who you like to hit a home run. There are some guys in the comments who quite frankly hit at a higher rate than me based on their comments. So I love reading through the comments, and if there's some I really like, I'll tail. So comment who you like to hit a home run. And then the last thing I'll mention before we get into the bangers is that I do have a Dub Club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month. If you're unfamiliar, Dub Club is a service you can subscribe to get people like me to send plays to people like you watching this video. It's $5 a month, get sent directly to your phone. So if you don't want to deal with YouTube, or you just want to get everything early, Dub Club's your option. If you're not interested, no problem. Let's start talking bangers. Play number 1. We are going with Witt Jr. to hit a home run as our first leg of the Dong Robin. Now, I will admit, anytime you are playing a home run at Royals home stadium, it's not going to be a plus matchup from a stadium perspective. Really massive outfields. I don't know what the Royals are doing. I guess they just don't want home runs at their home stadium because their outfield is much, much longer than any other outfield. They're massive. So that's why we're getting Witt Jr. in the high plus 400s as opposed to like in the 200s based on the way he's been hitting. So the price takes into account the fact that it's not a home run type of stadium. But the good news is that Witt Jr. absolutely rakes at home. His ISO rate at home, 322. His ISO rate on the road, 211. So much, much higher ISO rate at home. Now, admittedly, that has a lot to do with he hits a lot more doubles at home, which obviously does go into his ISO rate. But he's also hit roughly an equal number of home runs versus at home in a way. So it's not like he's terrible at home in the home run department. When you look at the matchup, it's just an absolute dream for Witt Jr. He's going up against the Phillies pitcher Taijuan Walker, and Taijuan Walker is terrible. Everybody in Philly hates him. I know, because as you can tell from my background, I'm a Philly fan. Everybody in Philly hates him. He's terrible. He was awful to begin the year, missed time due to injury, has continued to be awful since he returned from injury. Now, he hasn't thrown a ton of innings because of the injuries, but of all pitchers that have thrown at least 60 innings, he's got the 3rd worst home run per 9, the worst barrel rate, the 2nd worst hard hit rate, the worst average exit velocity, and a launch angle that would be 18th worst of all qualified pitchers. He's allowing batters to barrel the ball up at like a record pace while also allowing them to put the ball in the air. And Witt Jr. has been absolutely raking recently. He's got the 4th most hard hit line drive plus fly balls over the past 7 days. He's got 9 total. So not only tracking hard hit, but hard hits that are put in the air. Witt Jr. has 9 in the past 7 days. Again, that's the 4th most in the MLB. And he smokes the pitch mix of Walker as well. Very confident that Witt Jr. is going to go yard for us today. That's play number 1. Plays number 2 and 3 are both in the Rays versus Dodgers game. I'm taking Brandon Lowe, and Mookie Betts to hit a home run in this Dodgers game. Now, This game is one of the rare games that is a positive home run game from a stadium plus weather perspective. I'm not going to say it's incredible. This isn't Coors Field. This isn't Reds home stadium. But with the cold front making its way through the country, as I mentioned, a lot of games you'll see are in the red for home runs because it's cold. The weather, or the travel of the ball, the carry is what I'm looking for, is not going to be as far as normal. This is a rare positive game for home runs. Both Brandon Lowe and Mookie Betts have excellent matchups against the pitchers they are going against, which is why I like both of them to hit a home run. Now, if you are playing this in a round robin on FanDuel, you need to place the same game parlay as a totally separate bet because FanDuel won't place that for you. If you're playing this on a platform that doesn't allow you to round robin two guys in the same game, I would choose Mookie Betts of the two. I'm more confident in Mookie than I am in Brandon Lowe, but I am taking both. To be clear, I am taking both. So Brandon Lowe is going up against Bobby Miller of the Dodgers. Miller has gotten just annihilated by left-handed hitters, absolutely crushed. Now, he's only started 8 games, so he's kind of similar to Taijuan Walker, has a limited sample size. But in those 8 games, he's got a home run per 9 of 2.41 in general, which is awful, and a home run per 9 of 3.00 against lefties, which is worse than awful. Saying that's awful is an insult to awful. That's Rodri Munoz level bad. For those of you that are in the know, you don't want to be Rodri Munoz level bad. And what's great is that Bobby Miller throws a four-seam fastball majority of the time, the most frequent pitch that he throws. Lowe has a 259 ISO rate against four-seam fastballs on the season. I love Brandon Lowe. Looking at Mookie Betts, since he has come back from injury, he's been on fire. He has one fewer hard hit than Bobby Witt Jr. In terms of hard hit, line drive, plus fly balls. So he has 8 to Bobby Witt Jr.'s 9, and which is really good, to be clear. And while he hasn't seen a ton of lefties since he's come back, it's been a smaller sample size. The lefties that he has seen, he's hit hard. And historically, he hits lefties really hard. He's only got 5 at-bats against lefties over the past, since he's come back from injury, past 2 weeks. Of those 5 at-bats, he has 3 hard-hit line drive plus fly balls. And then 2 of those 3 are considered piss missiles, which means 100 miles per hour or more off the bat, and a 20 to 40 degree launch angle. Very confident that Mookie Betts goes yard tonight. Again, if you're tailing this on FanDuel, which is where I place these, you need to log a separate same game parlay bet for these two. If you could only choose one, Mookie Betts would be the one. Next up, George Springer to hit a home run. So Springer had a terrible start to the season. He's like another guy that we're going to have on the list where if you look at his season-long stats, you're going to say this guy sucks. If you look at his recent stats, you're going to say this guy rakes. That's how dramatic it's been. The first 2 months of the year, the dude could not hit anything. But he's been on fire recently. Now, he didn't hit a home run yesterday, but he had a combined 3 home runs in his previous 2 games prior to that, meaning he hit 2 home runs 3 games ago, and then he hit another home run the game after. Now, he didn't hit one yesterday, but still really, really good. And overall, you look at the last 7 days, he's tied with Bobby Witt Jr. with 9 hard hit line drive plus fly balls over the past 7 days. Now, if you're wondering why I'm mentioning this, one stat that I have been looking at more recently, along with the pitch mix of the pitcher, is this guy hitting the ball hard or not? But I want to look at guys that are hitting the ball hard in the air, which is why I'm looking at hard hit line drive plus fly balls specifically. The hope here is that we're catching guys that are in the middle of a hot streak and they can stay hot for us. And we also want to look at guys that are putting the ball in the air because a hard hit ground ball doesn't help us when we're talking home runs. So that's kind of why I've been mentioning that a lot recently. Pitch mix is important, but if it ends up being a bullpen game or by bullpen, I mean, if the starting pitcher leaves and he ends up getting at bats against the bullpen, I just want to see is this guy raking or not. So both of those I've been looking at a lot more recently. As for the pitching matchup, going up against a guy on the Angels who's only pitched 20 innings this year, so small sample size. In the innings that he has pitched, he has not been good. He's allowed a home run per 9 of 1.74. He's only allowed 4 home runs because, again, small sample size, but 3 of the 4 home runs have come to right-handed hitters, such as George Springer. Now, Springer has not seen a ton of lefties over the past month with the pitch mix that he will see today, but the ones that he has seen, he's hit hard, and with how hot he has been in general, I feel pretty comfortable riding with him today to stay hot. That's play number 4. Plays number 5 and 6 are once again in the same game. We're talking Francisco Lindor and we're talking JD Martinez of the Mets. Now, again, 2 guys in the same game needs to be placed as a separate same game parlay. And if I had to choose one, I would choose Francisco Lindor. So if you're playing it on a different platform where you can't choose 2 guys in the same game, I would choose Lindor over JD Martinez. I myself am taking both. So you're going to see that I have two guys on the match. You're going to say, oh, he's probably targeting a very juicy pitching matchup. That's actually not quite what I'm doing here. I'll get into the pitching matchup. Instead, what I'm doing here is two of these guys are on the list of guys that have been raking over the past week, especially Francisco Lindor, which is why we are on him if I had to choose between the two. He leads the MLB with hard hit, line drive, and fly balls with 14. He literally is averaging 2 per day over the past week. That's crazy. The next closest batter has 11. And again, he has 14, 3 more than whoever's in second place. It's absurd how much he's been raking. And JD Martinez, while not among the top of the top, tied with Mookie Betts with 8 of these hard hit, line drive plus fly. I need a better name for that because it's a mouthful and it doesn't sound that exciting. But he's got 8 of these tied with Mookie Betts over the past week. So Joe Musgrove is pitching for the Padres. Definitely not going to say he's awful. I will say he is hittable and he has missed time due to injury, so it's hard to get a read on him. He's been hit up. He's had some good games where he hasn't been hit up. What I do know is that both of these guys, Lindor and Martinez, have been raking in general, have been raking against Musgrove's pitch mix. So I feel good about riding with both of them today. That's plays number 5 and 6. Play number 7 is our last leg of the round robin, and is also a guy I'm taking straight up for a quarter unit. So I'm going to have double exposure on Corbin Carroll specifically, but I love this play for Corbin Carroll so much that I wanted him in the round robin, but I also wanted a piece of him individually. So if only Corbin Carroll hits a home run and nobody else does today, we will still be in the profit because of how juicy these odds are. And if he hits a home run and someone else does, then we're really in the profit. So Carroll, he's tied with Bobby Witt Jr. and George Springer with 9 hard hit, line drive, plus fly balls over the past week. He's also hit 3 home runs in the past 7 days as well. 8 of the 9 hard hits and 2 of the 3 home runs have come against right-handed pitching. He's going to see a righty tonight. But not only is he going to see a righty, he's going to see a righty who gets absolutely annihilated by left-handed hitters such as Corbin Carroll. Now, the pitcher we're talking about is Brian Bello of the Red Sox. 13 of the 19 home runs that he has allowed have come to lefties. His home run per 9 against lefties on the year is 1.9. That's terrible. You want to look at his last 10 starts, he's allowed 9 home runs. 6 of those 9, which is a very nice number, have come to left-handed hitters with a home run per 9 that is equal of 1.90. Still really bad recently. Corbin Carroll, as I mentioned, been absolutely on fire, especially on fire when facing right-handed pitching. You look at the last 2 weeks against righties, 12.5% barrel rate, 65% hard hit rate, 344 ISO rate. He's going to see changeups as the most frequent pitch from Bello. He's crushed changeups recently. In his last 6 at-bats from changeups, 102 miles per hour off the bat, 108 mile per hour line out, 101 mile per hour off the bat, 104.9 miles per hour off the bat. That one was a 389-foot home run. Crushed changeups. From there, he's going to see the sinker as the second most frequent pitch. I could give you all the numbers. He's also crushed sinkers. There's no hiding from Corbin Carroll against a pitcher that allows a lot of home runs to lefties, against a batter that crushes right-handed pitching and has hit a lot of home runs as lefty. It's just a match made in dong heaven. Let's hope he comes through for us. If he does, we will be green for the day. And then our last play of the evening is a player in Yainer Diaz that I'm taking straight up, and I'm not putting him in the round robin. So I'm just taking him for a quarter unit straight up. Now, if he hits a home run and no one else does, we will also be green for the day, which is why these guys with longer odds are worth putting a quarter unit on, because it's not a ton of risk for a lot of reward. Now, the reason why I did not want to put him in the round robin is because, number one, FanDuel has pretty shit odds, pardon my language, pretty bad odds compared to Bet365, which is where he's best offered at plus 700 odds. And also because I generally hate taking right-handed batters playing at the Orioles home stadium because they have that massive, super deep left field, which is a really big bummer for right-handed hitters. But Diaz has been so good, has such a good matchup, that I still wanted to have some action on him today, and that he still could hit one out of the ballpark because of how hard he's been hitting, or he could not pull it. He could hit it to the oppo, hit it to center field, whatever. So I mentioned that Francisco Lindor leads the MLB with the stat that I'm looking at. Hard hit, line drive, plus fly balls. Lindor's got 14. I mentioned that the next closest batter had 11. Guess what? The batter that has 11 is Yainer Diaz of the Astros, annihilating the baseball recently. He's actually seen a decent amount of lefties. Part of the problem if you're targeting someone against a left-handed pitcher is we don't have a ton of data if you're looking at a small sample size. He actually has a bigger sample size against lefties recently, and he's crushed them. Last 14 days, 62.5% hard hit rate, 500 ISO rate, and 12 at-bats against left-handed pitching. From there, the most frequent pitch he will see from a lefty, today Cade Povich is pitching for the Orioles, four-seam fastball, crushing four-seam fastballs. And what I like about him is he's not trying to make contact. He's not trying to bloop a single, get a double. He swings for the fences every time he swings. So you look at his pitch mix against fastballs, he either strikes out or he hits a ball to the moon. I'll take my chances with a guy like that. He's seen 10 at-bats over the last month against four-seam fastballs from left-handed pitching specifically. 5 strikeouts, so 50% strikeout rate isn't great. 4 hard hits. So he almost has as many hard hits as he does strikeouts. We're talking 108 miles per hour off the bat, 414-foot home run, 106 mile per hour line out, 110 miles per hour off the bat, 448-foot home run. That's a home run no matter what stadium you're looking at. And then the next pitch he'll see are curveballs, similarly annihilated curveballs. He goes yard today. Him and Carroll come through for home runs. We're sitting pretty. Let's hope that happens. And that's all we got. 8 total players on Dong Watch for you guys to lock in. A 7-leg round robin that I'm placing 0.05 units on each individual leg times 2, which ends up being 1.05 units on the round robin. I also have 2 guys that I'm putting a quarter unit on individually. So we're going to have 1.5, basically a little over that, units risked total today. If any combination of 2 hit a home run, we should be in the green for the day. If one of Corbin Carroll or Yainer Diaz hits a home run, we will be green for the day. If we get 3 or more to hit a home run, we're going to be swimming in cash, just like we were on Wednesday. Let's hope for that. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Dub Club if you are interested, and have a good one.